Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the StarCraft Evolution League, the Fall Championship 2024. Welcome back to the quarterfinals. We just wrapped up with our first two matches with Dark versus Shin and with Classic versus 3 Point, and now we have returned. We have returned with our second half of the broadcast with a random versus Terran match. As we said, a big shout out to Bashka. Gracias. Thank you so much, Bashka, for the support, for the $1 tip. Thank you. We don't really get too much donations or tips on the channel, so we always appreciate it whenever we get some support, so thank you so much. Likewise, some bits as well from Random Hyper 1. We do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thanks for all the support that we get on the channel. We are able to, of course, fund our events and cast as often as we do. Again, we have a very busy month ahead of us. We're casting every single day, multiple times a day, whether it's StarCraft Evolution, whether it's StarCraft 2. It's a busy end of year. Very busy end of year, papi. Ay. There's a lot to come. There's a lot to come. A lot of content to come. So thank you so much as we settle into uThermal versus Kiwian. Now, as a reminder, this is, it says Terran here. Hold on. Let's fix that up. There we go. It is a random versus Terran, kind of. uThermal, he isn't necessarily a random player. He is half of a random player. What does that mean? What does that mean exactly? Well, uThermal, he has decided to play random only when he plays SC2. Only when he plays StarCraft 2. When he plays Brood War, he will pick Terran. So he's half a random player up against Kiwian. And I'm excited because Kiwian, he was so intriguing during the group stage. Like, again, Kiwian, I wasn't really expecting too much out of him. I wasn't really expecting too much out of our Korean Terran player. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised to see him excelling. He did excel quite well here. When it came to how he was progressing through the group stage, when it came to his builds of choices. It was very unique, very intentional, and I do think that Kiwian's best matchup is most likely TvT, so we'll see. We'll see how it all comes together here as we catch up on the chat. Thank you so much for the additional gifted bits as well. Thank you. Do appreciate it. All the support. Always. Thank you. And so jumping into our fresh best of 5. As a reminder, this is going to be a best of 5. And up first, we have a TvT. It is going to be uThermal picking and playing Brood War and Kiwian with the SC2 Terran. So we have our TvT ahead of us. Let's jump in. Let us jump in. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Whispers of Gold, we have the... I forgot about this. We have the red Terran player, the Brood War Terran, representing himself from the land of the Netherlands, but currently living in Mexico. It is Salsa Tequila, aka uThermal. Let's go. And spawning in the bottom right. Does no one play with their proper ID? God damn it. We have the barcode Terran player, the SC2 Terran from South Korea. Some know him as TOP. As top, it is a Kiwian. I'll fix up the UIs. Hold on. Hold on, papi, hold on. uThermal. I have to pick the... Oh, I have to fix that up as well, actually. Bam! uThermal and Kiwian. Beautiful. We have our TvT ahead of us here. And we'll see. I'm curious how this all pans out. As a reminder, uThermal, he came in with very specialized Brood War Terran builds yesterday during the group stage. And once again, 2 racks. Okay, we have a 2 racks opener out of uThermal. And we saw uThermal make great use of an early 2 racks, if not 3 racks, stim timing. Did use it to great effect against Dark. Did use it to great effect against his Zerg opponent. Is he willing to embrace that against his Terran opponent, though? That is the question. Let's go. SCV scouts are moving out across the map. It is going to be a Reaper opener out of Kiwian. It is going to be opening up Reaper first. Meanwhile, yep, it is going to be a stim timing. Okay, Academy's on the way. So it looks like 2 racks stim here from uThermal. Again, we saw something very similar from uThermal against Dark previously. SCV Scout comes in, but the Marine has arrived and will zone and shut down that SCV. And Kiwian doesn't see much. He doesn't see much in the main base. He did see the lack of second gas, but he only saw 1 rack. So unfortunate scout there for Kiwian. He does have incomplete information, and this may catch him with his pants down. There was a discussion in the chat earlier about the pants being down, papi, and that may be applicable to SC Evo players as well. We'll see. We'll see if they can they can tighten up their belts, and if we can survive. As Marines are amassing. Basically, one base all in. One base all in out of uThermal. He's massing on Marines. Now, something that we did quickly find out during the group stage here when it comes to this stim timing is, unlike in SC2, where you build up, we've seen it from Beyond, for example, going 2x Reaper into like a 3x Marine timing, or even 4x Marine. The downside in SC2, as Reaper Scout is denied, is in SC2 you have to wait for medevacs. You have to wait for your starport factory into starport for medevac to support to actually have any support and to be able to maintain the 2 racks. The sim timing, I should emphasize. When it comes to Brood War, this hits earlier and it hits harder because you do not need a starport for medics. Medics already here, which means we have multiple stims available. That is why this hits so fast. There's multiple stims here for uThermal, and the medics are here to make sure that happens. As uThermal does move out, back at home, Bunker's on the way. Bunker's not ready. Uh-oh. The army is spotted. The bunker, it's almost done. A couple more seconds. A little bit more. Couple more seconds here. It looks like it will barely finish up in time. Oh my god, it does finish up just barely. Bunker does complete. The boys are being pulled, and Kiwian will repair. Oh my god, but the SCVs are focused down so quick. Yeah, so many SCV kills, 7 SCVs. The bunker still falls anyway. The stim Marines are crazy. And uThermal, he busts into the main. Tank is on the way. Marines are on the way, but the production's too late. The boys are being pulled, and uThermal looks like he has done it here. Again, a very unforgiving stim timing. Even with the bunker finishing, even with the boys, GG gets called, and uThermal wins game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Again, uThermal, he had a build very similar to this in the group stage against Dark, and he also caught Dark with his pants down. Likewise, Kiwian, the pants were nowhere to be found. I mean, what I will say is that Kiwian, he had a good response. Remember, the bunker finished up just in time. He pulled the boys just in time to repair as well. But uThermal, he was so quick to retarget and to focus on every single SCV. It was crazy just how quickly those SCVs did go down and how hard that stim timing did hit. GG. GG, well played. uThermal takes a lead. GG, well played. Whew. And now we're getting into game 2. New to watching this, do most games end early? They do not, but we have had quite a bit of cheese here tonight. Not every game, but for example, 3-point was hyper cheesy, uThermal is very cheesy as well, and even in the ZVZ between Dark and Shin, we had some 12 pools and 13 12s as well, so it comes down to the build of choice. In general, on average, I don't believe the games are typically short, but specifically, some of these games are. And now we're getting into game number 2. Let's go. Let us go. The pants are never up. They're exactly. Oh no. As we get, God, they switch. They didn't just switch places. They switched colors. Look at this. As I. God damn it. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Sylphid, we have the SC2 Terran. Now the StarCraft 2 Terran player from the Netherlands living in the land of Mexico, leading the series 1-0. It is uThermal. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the Brutal Terran. Also, sorry, I should say, I believe random. He picked random and he has rolled a Terran here in game 2. In the top left-hand corner, we have the Brood War Terran player, the Red Terran from South Korea. It is Kiwian. Here we go. So uThermal, he did pick random, he rolled Terran, and as a result, Kiwian is unaware. Kiwian is unaware of uThermal's race at the moment, and I should quickly set up those player names. Bam. Okay, we have uThermal. We have Kiwian as well. Bam. Okay. I feel like I'm probably gonna have to update that every game. God damn it. But here we go. We are settling in. For the time being, again, uThermal is unscouted. SCV Scout coming in from Kiwian to try and determine what the hell is going on and what race uThermal is playing. Is coming in with the SCV Scout. Likewise, uThermal going for his own Worker Scout as well. Oh my god, as we do see Kiwian opening up 3 racks. Now, he is going for a CC first into a 3-Rex. This is an economic build by the Brood War Terran player. Do not confuse this with the aggression that uThermal went for. Remember, last game, uThermal went for a 1-base all-in. It was a 1-base all-in out of uThermal in game 1. Here we see Kiwian going for delayed Rax's CC first. So more economic here from Kiwian. Back at home, uThermal, double gas opener into a faster factory, into a delayed CC. Now, uThermal should still be expanding behind this. Technically, he can go for a starport into a one base all in himself, but he should be expanding. And we should be embracing a longer game state. Little detail, Marines, they changed visually slightly after researching the 2-3H shells. Oh, I did not know that. Okay, I'll try to keep an eye on that. It's going to be difficult, but I'll do my best. As I'm sure it's going to be researched this game by Kiwian, as Kiwian, he is going into Stim, once again an Academy, again 3 racks into Academy, into Stim, into, of course, the rest of the upgrades, into the mid game. Likewise, uThermal, for the first time this series, he's expanding. He is going to be expanding, taking the natural, getting into his 1-1-1 follow-up. Let's go. Oh. So Reaper's a poke in, chipping away the Marines, dancing with the army. As a reminder as well, as we load to Sylphid, there's no Reaper cliff. There is no cliff into the main base, so the Reapers, they have no way into the main to get a better scout. Ooh, as 1 Marine goes down, 2 Marines go down. Hellion has arrived, a 3rd Marine falls as well. So far, very nice trades here from uThermal. Hasn't lost a single unit, very efficient. Gets 3 Marines, bunkers on the way. Can uThermal catch another Marine? I think he can. Oh, he's trying. Oh, gets another. Just slowing down the Marine count here. Another Marine falls every time. How many so far? 6! 6 Marine kills for nothing. So very efficient trades. Behind this, uThermal getting into his tank production. So bio tank. Into, I imagine, Raven. This could be Banshee. Leading towards the side of Raven here from our Terran. Stim is done. Finally, the completion of Stim. uThermal, he has to respect the army. Backs off. Medic has arrived. And Kiwian holds. Kiwian does hold. But so far, a really strong start for uThermal. Because he killed so many Marines, that means that Kiwian has less pushing power. It means he's stuck at home. He's stuck at home. If you want to be active with Stim, he can no longer be. Working towards his own tank production. And again, if you do want to tune into some amazing TvT between Brood War and SC2, I do recommend the group stage. We have a Terran group with uThermal getting involved as well. uThermal, Homono, and Spirit. And we had some incredible matches, and it's a lot to live up to. Oh, let's go! Oh my god, Flare is on the way. God, what's the name of the upgrade again? But we do have the medic upgrade in production. Let's go. Actually canceling the shell upgrade in favor of it. Interesting. Is it Ion Flare or something? Oh god, I can't quite recall. But regardless, it is an upgrade for the medics. The way that it works, I believe, is that it reduces the vision, the sight of a unit to 1. Not quite to 0, but to 1, if I recall correctly. So that can be used, for example, to try and disable tanks. Of course, the units can still use the vision of other units around it to actually attack and actually gain vision and gain range. But if it's on its own, then it sees nothing, as it is researched. Yeah, there we go. Does finish up. Optic Flare, that's it, Optic Flare. Not Ion Flare. You know what I mean. But Optic Flare has been researched. As we have a double tank production out of uThermal, double factory. That is unorthodox. Sorry, I didn't quite notice that. But okay, double tank production here from our blue Terran player. So a heavy tank count early on. Looking to embrace mech, I imagine. I would imagine. Scan does reveal the tank count as well. Kiwian back at home, working on additional bio. Still not quite embracing siege mode. Not quite. And we'll try to get an eye here on the visual change of the Marine. Does catch out them. Hellion, not bad. Hellion goes down. uThermal getting into his own lib production. Now he goes for his move out. Tanks are unsieged. Alright, where's the visual change? I'm looking at the guns. Up. Oh, actually, sorry. It's on the shoulder, right? Are those meant to be like the slugs? Like the shells on the shoulder? Okay. Let's go. I was looking at the wrong place. But here we go. Tanks have arrived. Again, it is a very heavy tank count because of the additional factories early on. uThermal pushing forward. Remember, uThermal, he has no stim, he has no bio upgrades, just purely relying on the tanks and the air control. So Tank Liberator has arrived. And we can't push into this. Yeah, this move out is brutal. Third CC's all the way behind this. Remember, delayed tank production from Kiwian. He has no tank. Siege mode does research, but he's down to one tank. And uThermal is snowballing out of control. He breaks the natural. And how do you push into this? Into this line of tanks and liberators. Ay, ay, ay. Kiwian, he wasn't expecting this. I mean, he had no idea. He scanned the natural, he did not scan the main. Liberators have arrived. And uThermal is snowballing out of control. Yeah, you know what happened, Papi. Kiwian, the pants were down. Oh. I mean, he had no idea what was coming his way until it was too late. And he was woefully underprepared. The Bio Army cannot engage. And again, he has no air control here to fight against those libs. Medevacs going down. Kiwian attempting a surround here, or attempting a counterattack, but the natural has fallen, and uThermal is pushing into the main, and soon to camp the production. Now, this entry point into the main base is very narrow. It's very narrow here, very difficult to really push through. It's not going to be easy. And in the meantime, Kiwian going for a massive counterattack instead. Is going for a counterattack back at home. Oh my, there's so many tanks. There's 6 tanks to defend. You know what it is, uThermal, his pants are up. Oh my god. He is so well fortified here. Marines, they melt, trying to break the natural. GG gets called. And uThermal takes game number 2. GG, a very aggressive build by uThermal, rushing into a second factory, rushing into early tank production, into those fast liberators as well. And again, the goal there was to try and hopefully catch the Terran player off guard, as Kiwian, he wasn't quite set up for that. He was building up Marines, but he had no tanks of his own. Likewise, he had no air control of his own either. No way to really fight against all those all those liberators. He was stuck with a heavy bio composition, a composition that he couldn't quite make use of. I do think that ideally, winding it back, it kind of reminds me of like tank pushes in TvP, where ideally, if Kiwian was aware of the move outs, if you're stuck with a mass marine army like that, ideally you would want to engage out on the map and slow down the push, right? Slow down the push, force the tanks to siege. Remember, uThermal, liberators, they can't really support the army against marines, not when they're out on the map. Likewise, he had no stim of his own, so ideally you want to pick a tank off here and there, force the siege, and buy time to build up your own army. Unfortunately, Kiwian didn't spot the move out and wasn't able to engage until the army was already in his face. It was already in his face, already knocking down that front door. I would imagine that's kind of the approach you would have to take. Very similar to Terran versus Protoss, where a Protoss player with a gateway heavy composition needs to slow down the tank push. Otherwise, it's over. Otherwise, it does end then and there. And with that, we're now getting into game number 3. It's been a very fast series so far, but hopefully things can slow down here as we are loading into the island map. We're going to be loading into the near Isles of Siren. Let's go. Let us go. Counterattack, yes. Massive Pappy. Respect the Marine, the man with gun. I mean, clearly not against the tank line, but it's all he had left. But here we go, we're getting into our next game, and oh, they have maintained their colors this time. Let's go. Spawning in the top right-hand corner of Neo Isles of Siren, we have the Brood War Terran player. The Brood War Terran from the land of the Netherlands, living in the land of Mexico. It is uThermal. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Terran player from South Korea, the SE2 Terran. Can he bounce back? He has the hero now to make a series out of this. It is a Kiwian. Let's go. Now, if you have not seen this map before, if you're just now tuning in, then welcome one and all to Neo Isles of Siren. Welcome to an island map. Now, unlike some of these other maps, what is most interesting to me is it is split up by these small rivers. You have these rivers that completely slice up the entire map. You cannot pass through, without exception, of course, with drop play, with Nidus worms, with drop play, with more drop play. I mean, it's TvT, so drops are going to be the way to go here to try to get past, or just a Sky Terran army, you know, going into Banshee, into Viking, into BC. We have seen players like Mono embrace Mass Viking. Mass Viking with Liberator can pop off in this matchup. True. So you can go Viking Lib. Curious to see how this does play out. On top of that, this isn't just an island map. We have 4-player spawns as well. So top right, top left, bottom right as well. There's 4 possible spawn locations, and there is a center base as well that can be quite effective with 4 gas geysers and so many mineral patches. So that is something that you can fight for, that you can try to vie for as well. When it comes to your own islands, you have 4 bases. You have your main, you have your natural, you have your third, and you have this 4th base as well. The 4th base is more exposed. You can see here, to gain access to the 4th, you have to go the long way around. This means specifically to reinforce this location, if it's attacked, it takes a long time. If your army is positioned here, for example, and if it's ground based, to get to this base, it has to go all the way around, and we have seen players taken advantage of. We have seen players struggle to defend this center base specifically because of moments like that. So yeah, again, some unique features when it comes to the base locations. Meanwhile, we can settle in. And we have mech, of course. A double factory here out of Sal Tequila, out of uThermal. Interesting build choice here from uThermal. I'm curious if he plans on going for drop play. With double factory, I would assume so. Meanwhile, we do see likewise our mech as well. The Rax floats over to scout. Remember, they don't know where they are. They don't know where their opponent is, I should say, or where they are as well, I suppose. As the Rax is floating, looking for uThermal. You can be quite greedy and try to rush into multiple CCs, but it's going to be mech. It's mech versus mech. God damn it. Is going to be mech v mech. We do have vultures on the way. We're getting into ion thrusters, and I would imagine we're going for a vulture drop. Okay, so vulture drop out of one player. Meanwhile, I would imagine cyclone drop out of the other. And who comes out on top, the cyclone or the vulture? Let's go. Oh, actually, okay, cyclones with Vikings as well. All right, let's go. We'll have additional anti-air. I mean, that's going to be the big factor here, is that Kiwian with cyclones and Vikings, he will have anti-air. He can shut down the drop itself. Meanwhile, uThermal cannot. As uThermal comes in with that Rax, will float in and will confirm the expansion location. I'm curious if Kiwian will see the Rax itself. Ooh, he does. Okay, he does spot the Rax. Rax floats in. Kiwian knows. So both players are now aware of their spawn locations. Drop is moving in. And here come the Cyclones. Likewise, we do have uThermal setting up back at home. Spider Mine's on the way. The Wraith is being hunted down by the Viking. The Wraith will be able to outspeed and outmaneuver the Viking, though. Does get away. Cyclones into the mineral line. SCVs are going down. So far, 2 SCV kills. Vultures are coming from behind. They try to engage, but limited anti-air, which means Kiwian shouldn't lose a single unit. There we go. Does pick up, does get out. And what shoots up? 2 Marines. 2 Marines, they tickle the medevac. Across the map, I believe the Wraith went down. Yep, the Wraith did fall. And so far, Kiwian, he gets the better of it. Kills the Wraith, kills some SCVs, gets away with every single unit. Very efficient trades here by Kiwian, as he has yet to lose a single unit. Trading well. Meanwhile, from the side of uThermal, we are getting into drop play. There we go. Medevac, sorry, dropship has arrived. And it is going to be moving out. Now, the dropship is it's not as maneuverable as the medevac, of course. Has no boost. It has no boost. Likewise, cannot heal. But does make its way over towards the main. Spider Mines was researched. And uThermal dives in. Does dive in, does delay some of the production, getting a couple of SCV kills. Spider Mines are set up. Up! Nice scan. Kiwian, he does clean up all the Spider Mines, but SCVs are going down, and they fall so quickly to the Vultures. That's going to be 7 SCV kills. Oh my god. Vultures, they might struggle in a head-on fight against the Cyclones, but against workers, they pop off. As they try to drag the Cyclones into Spider Mine range. Up! They're trying. Nice scan. Vultures, they do escape. They try to get into the middle line. Another SCV goes down. He gets 1. He gets 2 more. Almost 3. But 9 SCV kills in total. Is cleaned up. At the same time, Cyclone drop into the main. Goliaths have arrived. And with the help of the Goliaths, it looks like uThermal will hold. The medevac! Oh no! Boost on cooldown. Oh, boost, it was on cooldown. Medevac goes down. Ay, ay, ay. Nice defense here by uThermal. Settling on his 2 bases. We do see his opponent getting his 3rd. Even working on a 4th CC. But it's such an awkward game state because even if we're getting damage here and there, and even if, you know, units are popping off, there's no real pushing power for either player just because of the islands, right? Like, the main armies cannot really counterattack at any moment. Both players heavily reliant here on drop play. Cyclone drop into the natural. Oh, going for the SCVs. Gets 2. But the tank is in position. uThermal defends. Likewise, skirting around the edge, going for a Goliath drop. What? That I was not expecting. Okay. Goliath drop across the map, not a Vulture drop. Interesting. Also, Kiwian, he does lay claim to the center base, making sure that no expansion is taken. Do love to see it. The Rax has landed. uThermal moving out with another drop. It's going to be 4 Goliaths towards the left. It's going to be double Goliath, double Vulture here on the right. He can go for the Viking. Goliaths to get a handful of SCV kills. Another dropship. Ooh, the dropship does not unload whatsoever, but it miscontrolled there by uThermal. He loses every single unit in that drop. So brutal losses for him. He was focusing elsewhere, paying attention to his drop towards the south instead. And Kiwian is holding. Is holding on. Getting into Hurricane engines. As you can see, uThermal just hurling up, throwing down turrets, throwing down spider mines. We could be here for a while. I'll be honest. Like, our players are going to be heavily fortified back at home, and trying to be aggressive is going to be difficult because, I'll be honest, players have to invest into mass medevac and dropship. Like, a lot of supply is going to be invested into dropships and medevacs more than normal, just to be active. I mean, the Vikings are still an X factor, true. Like, Vikings are that much more impactful here for SC2. Because Vikings can land, they can harass, and they can more easily lead into, like, Mass Raven into BC. And into Liberator as well. Like, Sky Terran is definitely, like, a viable option to take into here, I feel. From the side of Kiwian. Meanwhile, he does go for the expansion. We spoke earlier, the space is exposed, and the CC is going to go down. Massive pickup! CC falls. Nicely done here by Kiwian. Pulls away. Does pull away. Still additional factory production. No additional starports. I'm still very much so on the fence, I'll be honest, about not embracing Sky Terran as quickly. I feel like, especially in TvT, you can. Especially on a map like this, on an island map. I do feel like that's something you can get away with, but, I mean, for the time being, Kiwian is not. Is not doing so. So if I see Terran seems OP compared to SE1 Terran, this is where I said, as I said before, I do recommend watching the group stage. Seeing like Bio Ghost, like Brood War Bio Ghost up against Mech is like, it's beautiful. Like seeing the lockdown on like tank lines and seeing like armies cleaned up, like in general, I'm a big fan of the Brood War Ghost. It's a really nice, it has really nice unit interaction in TvT. But a lot of this dynamic is just so different because of the fact that we're on islands. Like, because of the fact that neither player can be properly aggressive, like, it's just such a weird game state. It's like, so odd. As we do see Kiwian, he's the first to expand here in the center of the map. Like, the way that island maps play out is unique to any other, and I don't think it is applicable to really kind of apply any kind of balanced discussion on island maps and apply it to, like, you know, regular gameplay. Here we go, massive Goliath, massive Vulture drop into the main. Oh my god, the SCVs are going down. Goliath, they just have to, sorry, Goliath, I keep saying that. Vultures, they have their way with this. 11 SCV kills. Mine just going up, they take out the tanks. Oh my god. One of the tanks goes down, the other does hold its own, will barely fall. That's 17 SCV kills. Ay, ay, ay. Kiwian getting pulled apart, but Kiwian has a center base. He has a center location. So these are losses that Kiwian can afford, as he has expanded. Bugging out a little bit here. I think the CC is rallied elsewhere. We'll get a handle on it. Meanwhile, another vulture. Sorry, this time there it is. This time a Goliath drop towards the south. Goliaths are moving out. As we're building up more tanks, building up more siege lines. We do see uThermal getting to a very heavy Goliath tank composition. Meanwhile, we do see Kiwian instead going tank Viking, which I think is the right call. I do think that, I mean, it's all about air control to deny these drops. Oh! Goliaths, they do zone away the Vikings. Double drop moves out. But like, again, like these main armies, I don't see them ever attacking. Like, how do they, right? Like, you have to slowly like leapfrog them over into an area that you can actually make use of. Speaking of, I mean, there's a Doom Drop. This is it. Doom Drop does boost in, full of tanks. And finally, the first assault has occurred at the same time. We have the Goliath drop here across the map. Ooh, dropship goes down. But here we go, the army has landed. And uThermal is focusing elsewhere. And uThermal is paying attention to the drop instead. SCVs are going down. uThermal's attention is being split. And we have more drops on the way. And again, because this river is so narrow, tanks, they can support from one side to the other. So really nice setup here from Kiwian. Goliaths, they're still wreaking havoc. They're still being active. Speaking of ghosts, there it is. Ghost production has begun. Lockdown has yet to be researched, but ghosts are on the way for uThermal. As another CC is going to be going down, uThermal attempting to expand. Does get a CC. Not bad. CC goes down. Two of them even. 2 command centers fall. 11 SCV kills. Goliaths across the map are being cleaned up. And uThermal is not quite ready to deal with this kind of... I mean, he can't engage here. Cannot push in. Instead, going for a Doom Drop. Let's go. Goes for his own drop towards the center. Sieges up his tanks. Takes control of this into base. And this planetary should go down. It's only 3 tanks, actually. It's mainly Goliath here. Oh. Most of the tanks left at home. There we go. The ghosts have arrived to help support. In a way, trading a base for a base. uThermal, he's on 4 bases. Likewise, so is Kiwian. So an even base count. A comparable economy. And again, even though Kiwian is maxed, a lot of supply he can't actually make use of. So it's kind of a weird game state, but here come the libs! Yeah, tank Viking lib here. For Kiwian, getting on top of the tanks. And there's no answer currently. Lockdown is still being researched. We do see drop versus drop. Let's go. uThermal protecting his southern base. Kiwian boosting in. Oh, does spot the army. Going for the high ground. Uh-oh. There's high ground here. The Kiwian can try to make use of. Liberator slowly pushing forward. Goliaths, they get 1. They get barely the second. And Goliath range, not bad. Was out of range of these tanks. So nice cleanup there by uThermal. Both armies are about to max out. uThermal will have the supply lead because he has more army to defend compared to his opponents. Ooh, Vikings, they do catch a couple of dropships. But what I'm getting at here, in this kind of game state, in these island maps, you have all this supply at home for Kiwian that can't help. It cannot help here in the assault. without, you know, medevacs to drop them over. So reinforcements are so delayed. Well, that still doesn't make it easy here to break through. Here we go, the ghosts are coming in. Show us the lockdowns. And there we go, they lock down every single tank. Or most of the tanks even. Still a couple of tanks left over. Ooh, the ghost did fall. An expensive breakout here for uThermal. Did lose most of his ghosts, but alas, he cleans this up. Oh my god. Tank blows are brutal. We'll get the final tank. He keeps going. The momentum. He does keep pushing. The dropships are here. But alas, Kiwian, he has reinforcements. Oh my god. Yeah, uThermal, he cannot push in. Calm down, Pappy, calm down. Does pull away. Yeah, Viking Lib will zone back the main army. And Kiwian now he's on that center base. And uThermal, where are we headed? Where are we going? And we spoke about it. It's so awkward to defend this location. So awkward. CC is going to go down. uThermal coming into his drop. Behind this, BC production has begun. I feel like that's kind of the end game here for Kiwian, is getting into Viking BC. That's going to be Kiwian's kind of win condition, or his like final form. Oh. A miss rally there from uThermal. uThermal still shocking around with those drops, still trying to find a way in. I mean, hey, we have a ring of turrets set up already here for Kiwian with now BCs. Oh my god. The tanks are ready for this though. There's a siege. Do we have enough lockdowns? Nah, the tanks they siege up in time. And uThermal, he was late to react. Did react too late. Are there any ghosts with this drop? There are 2 ghosts. Okay, there's 4 ghosts. Sorry, 2. Okay. 2 ghosts with the drop. So we can actually fight against the BCs, but the BCs, they bypass the main army. They're headed towards the southern expansions. The main drop, I should say. Yeah, there's no answer. I mean, there are turrets, but there's no Goliaths, there's no ghosts here. The drop has to respond. There are 3 Goliaths. Let's go. But the drops are here. Yeah, Kiwian, he rotates. Oh, the spider mines! Oh my god! Spider mines go up. They catch a couple of tanks. But Kiwian, he does rotate, and uThermal is not in position. And uThermal's now being starved out. uThermal is down to 0 mining here at the natural, 0 mining in the main. There's 0 mining here at the third. No economy for uThermal. He has no money. No money, man. Oh my god. The BC barely teleports away. But with this, eventually, uThermal, he's just being starved out. He's just being starved out. uThermal, he cannot max. And really, all that Kiwian has to do is trade. Just trade with the army. And those are going to be trades that uThermal cannot afford. As he is attempting to take these southern... I mean, he's relocated. Yo, is uThermal just going to, like, lift all the buildings and leave? Yo, the mass lockdown. Let's go. Lockdown on the tanks. They will get cleaned up. This time, a much better trade here for uThermal. Previously, he lost all of his ghosts in the process. Not this time, though. So let's lock down the army. Good cleanup. But uThermal needs more. And again, over time, he will just run out of steam if he doesn't take more expansions. What I was going to say, though, is that technically uThermal, he could just lift all of his buildings and just like migrate over towards the south instead. Oh, as BCs, they teleport on top of the army. Goliath's getting caught out, so we need those ghosts. Again, uThermal, he split up and he cannot respond. Dropships are going down. Do we have any dropships left? There's 5 left. 5 left for uThermal. I believe these are the 5 remaining dropships, which means that this army is stuck. It's stranded. The armies are stranded. Dropships into the center base. It's gonna go down. The dropships, I mean. Boys are being pulled. Vikings land. No planetary. They're locked. No planetary, and it looks like uThermal might just barely come out on top here. It's gonna be close. Yeah, barely does clean up that army, but GG gets called, and Kiwian, he wins the war here as Kiwian fights back and puts a point on the board. GG. GG, well played. Again, uThermal just ran out of money, ran out of resources towards the end there. Likewise, was having a hard time keeping up with some of the drop play and some of the movements of Kiwian. Kiwian's army was more mobile, thanks to the boost on the medevacs, of course. And Kiwian did pull uThermal apart. GG. GG, well played. Kiwian does fight back and does put a point on the board, but now we're getting into game number 4. And I'm looking forward to more of a mid game here. Again, as I mentioned before, I don't think games on maps like island maps don't really tell us much about balance or tell us much about army interactions outside of specific drop play and specific air control and air movement, which I do think that SC2 Terran has the edge over Brood War Terran in that scenario. Here I'm hoping for more of a back and forth mid game. I want to embrace a longer game state here. We'll see if we can get it as we're loading into ley lines. Let's go. Loading into ley lines. Basically, SE1 ghosts make SE2 ghosts look balanced. True. Brood War ghosts are crazy. And we'll see if we can embrace them again here as spawning. God, they changed places. God damn it. Spawning in the top right hand corner of ley lines, we have the Brood War Terran player. The Brood War Terran representing himself from the land of the Netherlands, leading the series still 2-1, still 1 game away from taking it all and making it to those semifinals. It is uThermal. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player, the SE2 Terran. It is Kiwian, aka TOP. Oh, and do you see what I see? Same build here by uThermal. He's going for the 2-rack stim timing here once again, and give me a moment to set up the player names. Hold on. Bam. Okay, there's uThermal. And there's Kiwian. Beautiful. Okay, we are settling in. And again, it does look like the same build here from uThermal, going for that faster stim. And we have seen Kiwian struggle to defend against that before, but I do think part of that was also because of his lack of scouting. I do think that especially against a bio composition, we have seen Hellions completely shut this down. And I'm curious if Kiwian responds with a more Hellion-heavy composition instead. We'll see. We shall see. As he does poke in, he does get eyes on not much, actually. The SCV scout left much to be desired, and there we go. The SCV comes back in, thankfully, and we'll get eyes on the single gas, and we'll get eyes on, hopefully, the 2 Raxes.
Command center upgrade.
The academy is hidden, so Kiwian still doesn't know what's going on. There we go. First Marine is revealed, but he has to see the second Rax. No! Oh, second Marine. Okay, that's a bit of a tell. Kind of. Maybe. Has he seen enough? Yeah, bunker. Bunker's on the... Oh my god, Jesus. That's a strong reaction here. A strong response from Kiwian. Bunker already... I mean, it makes sense. He thought it was a proxy. When he first saw the lack of racks, he thought it was a proxy, so he responds with a bunker, double gas into a factory. So it looks like he thought he was being cheesed, but I mean, he kind of is. I should say he thought he was being proxied. There is no proxy. The Marines they're backing up, medevacs as well, but this is very safe play by Kiwian. It's actually 1 base play. Oh my god. 1 base versus 1 base. Whose base is stronger? We're expanding. uThermal is expanding. I do like this. I do like that uThermal is planning on expanding here instead. And once uThermal realizes there is no natural expansion, there's no reason to push up the ramp. There's no reason to try to force the issue here. Tank is on the way. Starport for, I would imagine, a medevac. uThermal's moving out. And he's not all in. uThermal is expanding. Is moving out across the map. And hopefully uThermal doesn't throw his army away, is what I will say. There we go. He does confirm the lack of natural. And I wouldn't be opposed to him just checking the ramp to see what he can see on top of the production, but there's a tank on the high ground as well. Maybe sending one Marine in? Not even. I like this more. He just backs off. He just backs off from here, contains his opponent, and expands. So Natural's getting up and running. Fusion! Oh my god. Fusion core's on the way. BCs. Okay, we have it. Oh, the scan into the main does not get eyes on the starport or the fusion core. Very unfortunate scan there for uThermal. He only sees half the picture. Does confirm that there's an expansion on the way, so he knows it's not a one base all in, but he misses the critical tech. Very important here that he needs to see this. Back at home, he's building up more bio. You can see he's looking for the starport. Yeah, he didn't see the starport in the main, so he thinks it's proxied. He's looking for a proxy starport out on the map. It makes sense. Looking for, I mean, medevac production or even proxy BC. uThermal, he is scouting. Factory now on the way. Now, at least uThermal, he does have, you know, a very biocentric army that does shoot up. There we go, the upgrades are done. Upgrades are done here for uThermal. I'm not fond of this move out, though, because he's going to leave nothing at home to defend. BC could just teleport in and could just end the game. Especially because defensively here with these tanks, I don't really see uThermal, sorry, Kiwian being broken, but we'll see. See if uThermal can make some magic happen here. As he does rally in. He confirms there is an expansion. And here comes the BC. I did hear it teleporting. Yeah, there we go. Teleports into the main. BC has arrived and uThermal, he races back home. Completely out of position. uThermal getting caught with his pants down. He did not scout the tech across the map. Did not see the fusion core. Did not see the starport. SCVs are falling. And the Marines are still coming home. They're still racing home. Ooh. As more Marines go down, 4 SCV kills. Getting up towards 5. Delaying the starports. And there's a second stim. And he will catch the BC. Kiwian overextending. Massive pickoff. BC goes down. And uThermal is still in this. He's still in this game. He almost 4 SCVs. That could have been so much worse. The BC should not have gone down. But there's another on the way. Second BC in production. Additional factories. It's mech. It's going to be mech here. BC into mech from Kiwian. Getting to a third CC. Likewise, we do see uThermal going into bio instead. Marine, medevac, into a third base, into, I would imagine, ghost production. Let's go. We have a game. We have a game back. uThermal didn't die, killed the battlecruiser. We're building up towards our 3 base economies, and we're getting into the mid game. Do love to see it here. Science facilities on the way. We can, I mean, try to work this to get into science vessel production. True. Scan into the main reveals now the starport, I believe? Question mark? No. Yeah, it does. That does. Barely does spot the starport. Now he knows. Does see both factories, so he's aware of the mech. He is aware of the mech coming his way. He was 1 SCV kill so far. Not the most losses here at the third. Again, uThermal is just trying to stabilize, recover from those earlier losses. Has a faster third, of course, so we can try to take an economic lead. Third base, not too far behind for Kiwian. Is now taking it, and he's building up his tank counts, building up his siege line. And unlike the previous map, there's a lot of counterattack potential, as we're not stuck on islands this time. There's the Ghost Academy. Ghost Academy on the way here for Kiwian. Interesting. That he would go for Ghost first instead of uThermal. Then he does find the tanks. Does spot them as he moves out. BC into the natural. Once again, uThermal out of position. It just keeps happening. Once again, he has to come all the way back home. The BC punish is real. 5 more SCV kills. Ay, ay, ay. That's a 5, getting up to 6 SCVs and a depot. And uThermal can engage, but this time there's dead space. This time the BC should not die. Backs up. Oh, and I assumed it was going to be bio, but that's 2 more factories. Never mind. I mean, it's kind of bio, but it's into a... what should be attacking vehicle. Oh, attacking vehicle position. BC teleports away just in time. Whew. Does get out of there. Does teleport back home. I would imagine that if his opponent was going into bio, then we would have actually made use of the starport and the science facility. Against science vessels with a radiate would have made sense against a bio heavy composition against marines, but against mech less so. Oh, I'm getting deja vu. Once again, uThermal moves out at the same time. This time, not a BC, but a Hellion run by into the natural, into the third. Oh, not this time though. uThermal does defend. He has reinforcements. This time he's in position. Scans a third, sees the massive tank line. Ghosts already on the way here for Kiwian. So we are building up. See uThermal trying to catch out these Hellions. Does stim across. Can they catch them? Up! Oh, he wants them. Oh, barely will miss the Hellions. Yeah, just barely. Hellions, they do get away for the most part. Catching a medic. And they at least get a medic. As Goliath's now going to be on the way. Will help against, I guess, some of the BCs. Getting to his own science facility production. Science vessel production, even. Optic Flare would have rendered the BC nearly useless. We have seen that used to great effect when it comes to things like Disruptor drops and like Colossus drops. Like Optic Flare is like, it's so underutilized, but can be so effective in like certain key situations. If you know what's going on, right? Like you're correct in that sense. Like if uThermal had scanned and if he had seen the BC initially, the BC production, then going into Optic Flare would have been such a great way to just counter it. Would have been crazy. If he had known, right? So we are going to be expanding, taking another base. Oh my god. Species does barely get out once again. Does teleport back out. But basically we're going to be here for a while as both players are just turtling up. We have siege lines, we have ghosts, turrets, sensor towers. As we do move forward. We kind of course defensive matrix as well. Oh, the EMP! EMP goes off both the EMPs! As science vessels rendered useless. They can't really support. And from here, uThermal will have to back up. I love the sound of the tank unsieging, resieging for Brood War. It's so nostalgic. Let's go. As Kiwian is maxed, uThermal still lagging a little bit behind. Now getting into his own ghosts. Let's go. As Kiwian does push, uThermal, he misses the move out. He's out of position. He's completely out of position. Kiwian pushing forward towards the right-hand base. And we may as well just go for a base trade here at this point. As in trading a base for a base, top left is going to fall. At the same time, Kiwian pushing in towards bottom right. CC goes down. Lives through siege. No lockdown yet. Ooh, Ghost goes down. Tank as well. Brutal losses here for uThermal. Oh, he rallies in. No! Rallies in a Ghost. Yeah, bleeding out far too much here to the lives. He's trying to set up a surround though. attempting to come in from behind, but the siege line is brutal. BC teleporting in, no anti-air, just the one Goliath. And uThermal was just getting picked apart. Having a hard time keeping up here as Kiwian is pushing forward. He does step in. Oh my, into a tank line. Yeah, tank line is brutal. There's the defense matrix, but too little too late. As he will collapse on the army. And he will eventually break out of this. He's going to try to at least. Not even. Yeah, the tank line is too strong. GG gets called as uThermal. He just rams his face into a brick wall. And Kiwian ties up the series 2-2. We are going to the ace match. GG. Lockdown was finishing in 0.2 seconds. Lockdown was finishing after the fight concluded. GG, well played. Ooh, we're going all the way to game 5. Let's go. We are going to game 5, and once again, it is uThermal's race pick of choice, and he is picking Brood War Terran once again. So uThermal, he is sticking with Brood War Terran. He does not want to touch SE2 Terran, not at all. And we'll see if he can keep up this time. Again, it was just a really unfortunate start for uThermal. He scanned, he missed the tech choice of his opponent. He did not see the BC production. He was not aware. Likewise, I do think that one of the big factors as well is just lack of map vision and map control. We saw multiple times Kiwian just take advantage of the fact that uThermal was out of position. Multiple times he was caught out of position with his army. He was out on the map when he needed not to be. He had to race back home multiple times and was just abused by that. Abused by the non-stop harass here from Kiwian. And now we're going to game 5. Let's go. We're going all the way to game 5. We'll see how this story ends. We go. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Troy, we have the, once again, Brood War Terran player, as he did of course pick the Brood War race here for the ace match from the land of the Netherlands. Oh, I do have to, one moment. There we go. From the land of the Netherlands, living in the land of Mexico, it is uThermal. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have the opponent. We have the SE2 Terran player, the Red Terran. It is Kiwian from South Korea. One moment. I'll set up the players. Here we go. Because we are setting up our players here, and we'll see what openers we do decide to go for. Welcome one and all to Troy. Troy is a 4-player spawn map, so as a reminder, our players do not know where they are. They don't know if their opponent has spawned in towards a cross spawn diagonal location, or either a horizontal or vertical spawn instead. So our players are playing in the dark. SCV Scout here from uThermal, likewise SCV Scout from Kiwian, and the SCVs, they will find each other, and they confirm. Very early scout here. Both players do confirm the vertical spawns. And it's going to be a double gas opener from Kiwian. What does this mean? Double gas into a faster factory. Now, we saw last game, this led into a fast starport, into a BC opener. Doesn't have to be BC. This could be a Banshee opener. It could lead into a Widowmine drop. Could lead into early Cyclones, early tank production. There's a lot of tech possibilities here for Kiwian. Meanwhile, back at home, single gas opener out of uThermal. Still opening up racks into factory. Okay, interesting. I'm curious if we're going to be embracing early Vulture production from the side of uThermal. As SCVs are moving out. Just confirm their scouts. There's that faster command center for uThermal. And again, because of the double gas opener, Kiwian is going for a delayed CC. Should be delayed. This could be a one base all in, true, but it should just be a delayed command center. Yeah, as the FC moves out, and Kiwian will expand. As CC is placed. Reaper Scout is denied. As a reminder, there is no Reaper Cliff coming into the main, so the only entry point here is the natural. And that is Vulture production has begun. The Reaper does hide in the tall grass. You do love to see it. Kiwian does remain hidden. uThermal does hit the natural. Will attempt to delay the CC. Cyclone is still in production. And the CC is delayed. Nice pick up here from uThermal. Bust into the main. Getting another SCV again. Vultures, they kill SCV so quickly. 3 hits is all it takes. Cyclone has right, but that's 3 SCV kills. That's a delay on the command center. This was worth it for uThermal. As long as it doesn't lose a second vulture. It does pull back. Ooh, do you see what I see? Mech. Let's go. Ion thrusters on the way. Second factory. It is going to be mech this time from uThermal. And there's a fast armory as well. So uThermal's embracing mech. Meanwhile, Kiwian has yet to really decide his tech of choice. UThermal does get on top of that Reaper. Shuts down the Cyclone as well. I would say a more efficient trade here for uThermal. Again, Vultures, they're mineral based. They don't cost any gas. So much more efficient here from the Broodlord Terran. So Ion Thrusters is on the way. That is Vulture speed. And I would not be surprised if Kiwian also plays mech, and we see mech versus mech here for the ace match. We have seen that before in the group stage between Hon Mono and uThermal. We have seen mech v mech. Vultures, they attempt to dive in. Ooh, they are denied. Goliath production. I mean, this will deny any drop play or Raven harass. True. Speaking of drop play, I mean, there we go. Kiwian does send out a drop here towards the natural. Out of the glass are ready for this. Medevac getting targeted down. Up! Oh my god, will escape. Will boost away. Kiwian getting the hell out of there. Likewise, Spider Mines is being researched. Dropship on the way here for uThermal, going for a Vulture drop, I would imagine. Let's go. These Vultures do move out. And, oh, my apologies. I assumed it was going to be mech here from Kiwian, but no, he's going to stim. Going to stim, going to interference matrix, third CC as well. There is a pseudo island here that you can take as well. Or there's basically an island here they can expand to. Scan reveals the setup, reveals stim being researched. uThermal knows it's bio, and he does get into the mineral line. SCVs are going down. 3 Vultures, they one-shot SCVs. They do one-shot, they set up the Spider Mines as well. Ooh. 1 Vulture falls. The Raven will help clean this up. So nice clean up here from Kiwian. Shuts down all the Spider Mines and forces back the Vultures. Does force them back. Meanwhile, Kiwian still investing into more Cyclones here. Just committing to additional Cyclone production with bio. Interference matrix is researched. I'll be honest, I'm a little bit concerned here for uThermal. I'm concerned. I mean, there's a lot of power here and there's Ravens. A couple of Vultures get picked up. Army pushes forward. And you can see uThermal trying to set up here on the high ground. Getting into medic production? Okay. Wait, what? I mean, I guess they help tank? Sure. Okay. Medic production underway. Restoration. Yeah, interesting. Interesting setup here from uThermal. Very interesting. As we are going for the Vulture drop. Sorry, Goliath drop even. Oh my god. Goliaths, they get dropped in. Can they pick off the Ravens? Oh, they get so close. One of the Ravens gets very low. Does get low, but alas, the Raven does survive. Restoration has it completed here. It was finishing up in 5 seconds, and that would be a really nice counter here to the eventual disables. Let's go. So they can just kind of like scrub these tanks clean from the interference matrix. I would imagine that's their purpose. uThermal does move out. Moving forward, massive tank boys going up. Let's go. And honestly, like, that's just a really nice counter here to the Raven. Like, it's something that we just don't have in SE2. That's crazy. Oh my god. Well, it looks like there was a bit of a pause here. Very tense situation. Ravens are looking for their moment to shine. Likewise, so are the medics. You see uThermal expanding towards his opponents. Kiwian getting his own base, getting his own third. Yeah, as you're mentioning in the chat, I mean, that's what I'm referring to. The dynamic right now is between the interference matrix from the Raven and the restoration here from the medic. If I didn't make that clear, I do apologize. But yes, that's what we're referring to. When it comes to our two spellcasters, that's why I mentioned before that SE2 doesn't have that. SE2 doesn't have like an answer to like clear up an interference matrix, which is crazy. So it's a really cool dynamic here. So I do apologize if I didn't make that clear. As we do see Kiwian attempting to break out. Oh! Gets a scan. Gets within range. Oh, barely not there. Tanks have to fall back. It's a slow breakout here from Kiwian. Yo, the turrets are being thrown down. uThermal doing his best here to contain. Up. Remember, Stim is done. Likewise, Kiwian getting ready for his own breakouts. Oof. Tank is barely saved. Liberator's gaining ground. You see here uThermal with his surround, with his concave. Has his vultures ready. And we're waiting for either player to pull the trigger here to commit. uThermal does have that side supply lead, but it all comes down to the engagements. Who sieges first? Oh! Tank within range. Massive pickup. One tank goes down. Kiwian, be careful. Likewise, Liberator forcing him back. It's being forced back. We do have uThermal just continue to reinforce. Oh! And he collapses in. He commits. He's going for it. Does try to focus on the Ravens. The Bio Army stims in. The tanks, they are a little bit late to siege, but they do siege up. No major restorations, but the Bio Army will crumble. And it looks like uThermal, does he break through? Barely not. Barely not enough here. It was a bloodbath in the center. The tank lines, they survive. Liberator lives. And uThermal backs off. He backs off. Does back up from there. These tanks are exposed. They have to get the hell out of here. He's exposed. No, the tanks. The tanks are all going to go down. He stims in, he sims, and he wins. He shuts down every single tank. The Goliaths and everything else. GG gets called. Kiwian, he will break out. He will take the series 3-2, advancing on to the semi-finals. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played, Kiwian. He does break out in the end. Again, it was a very nice concave setup there from uThermal. He was the one to decide to pull the trigger. Because of that, he had the disadvantage. Just winding it back very quickly, everything happened so fast there. uThermal did have a supply lead, true, but uThermal, he unsieged and he pushed into siege tanks. So he did lose a lot of supply trying to break that position, trying to break that setup from Kiwian. He was already pre-siege, he was already set up. And alas, uThermal, he was unable to break that in the end. GG. GG, well played. Whew. Kiwian does take the series and will advance on over uThermal. But a shout out to uThermal because I feel like we were able to embrace things that we never really see. again, like, I never really seen a player embrace restoration quite like that in TvT. I've seen more ghost-heavy compositions or like optic flares, but yeah, that is a really nice kind of counter or answer to the problem that is the Raven in Terran versus Terran. We didn't really get to see it come to play. Like, I was even trying to pay attention, and there was no like restoration used, I don't think, from the medics on those tanks. It was a very chaotic fight, very chaotic. Like, everything just caught on fire instantly. But regardless, GG, well played. Kiwian will advance on here, and with that, we have one series left. Also, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo está, chat? Grape Dactyl in the chat. Baby, good to see you. It has been a while, if you haven't tuned in before, welcome to StarCraft Evolution. This is a mod. It is a mod that brings together Brood War and SC2. Oh. Is a mod. And with that, we have one series left. One series remaining here. It's going to be another TvT, a Terran versus Terran between Quanta and Spirit. Let's go. And I'm really curious to see how this plays out. I hope you're looking forward to some more TvT as they will continue here. The final series of the night. Now, when it comes to this matchup, I'll be honest. Well, thank you so much, Grape Dactyl. Thank you for resubscribing. I know. I was the same. When I first casted this, I was the exact same way. It took like the brain was just firing like in all different directions, like thinking of like the possibilities and the interactions. It's a lot to take in. It can be overwhelming for sure. 100%. But this is going to be the final series of the night, a best of 5 between Quanta and Spirit. Now, when it comes to these two players here, I do favor Quanta. I know Spirit is a more well-known player. True. I guess it's kind of like the dynamic between 3-Point and Classic with Spirit and Quanta, where Quanta is a lot more well-versed in SE Evolution, Spirit less so. And it's going to be about whether or not Spirit can kind of brute force the win here and rely on his own mechanics and rely on his own SE2 play as well to win out on this series. He has played significantly less StarCraft Evolution compared to Quanta. We did notice that in the group stage, it did feel like Spirit, he was playing on the fly. He was kind of like learning, like on the go, trying to adapt to his opponent and figure the game out then and there. So we did kind of notice that from Spirit, and I mean, it's been a couple of days since then, so he's had some time to refine himself. So we'll see. We'll see how much he has been able to refine himself and how strong he looks here against Quanta. Let's go.